All right, we are live at Bearsheath Farm here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Khan, and got it done a lot sooner this time after I put it up there to be live. So I do have one kind of funny duddy thing to show you after my reading. And then I'll give a little dissertation on it. But that being said, I think we should concentrate for now on God's holy word. So let's get started. Exodus chapter 16. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and we did eat bread to the full. For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Then said the Lord unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. And Moses and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel, At even then ye shall know that the Lord hath brought you out from the land of Egypt. And in the morning then ye shall see the glory of the Lord, for he that heareth your murmurings against the Lord, and what are we that ye murmur against us? Before we're going to verse 8, welcome and shalom to Haas. Glad you're here, buddy. Okay, verse 8. And Moses said, This shall be when the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full, for that the Lord heareth your murmurings which ye murmur against him. And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord. And Moses spake unto Aaron, Say unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, Come near before the Lord, for he hath heard your murmurings. And it came to pass, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, At even ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread. And ye shall know that I am the Lord your God. And it came to pass that at even the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay round about the host. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground. Before I continue on to verse 15, we learned some things. Hey, welcome and shalom to Wilfred Witzke. Before I go on to verse 15, when we were in Florida, we did quail for a good amount of time. And every now and then, you know how one gets out of the pen. And welcome and shalom to Carolyn Gannon. I should be saying Shabbat Shalom. I apologize. But anyway, at least we do. We look things up. We read. I read definitely on a voracious level. But that being said, quail flies around, you know. They can fly around and stuff, and they get tired. And they get themselves fatigued to the point where you can just go right up to them, pick them up. Real easy. So obviously Elohim knew what he was doing with that. Just thought I'd give that tidbit of information. Because when one of ours would get out, one got away we saw him around for 3 days trying to catch him. He was going on to this other property. Even though the people didn't really live there anymore, they had their place in California for whatever reasons. And we never did meet them, and it got sold eventually. But point is, I'm having to go around and try and catch this dumb thing, and it'd have time to rest and whatever. Finally, the other guy that was staying with us, it was sitting right there, and he just went and picked him up. Obviously, that quail was fatigued enough. We put him back in the pen, but I think it was the next day he did die. That quail did die. I had to get rid of it because it'd gone like 3 days or something without food and water, really. But point is, but you get my point about being fatigued. The Hebrew Israelites could just go right up and pick him up. Anyway, let's go on to verse 15. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, "It is manna," for they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, "This is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents." And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, some less. See, that's the kind of honesty we should have, folks. I'm not against being rich. Trust me, if you were to send me 10 grand, I'd be very grateful and I'd use it. But there's no reason, like if we were to be given a portion, Deb and I, along with our dog, well, just Deb and I for human consumption. We'll just leave it at that. And we would do that. And if you have a family of 5, 6, 7, whatever, you should get a larger portion. So, yes, you are correct on that, Hoss. All right, verse 18. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. And Moses said, "Let no man leave of it till the morning." Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank, and Moses was wroth with them. Yeah, my ancestors were really something. Anyway, verse 21, and they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating, and when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man, and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, "This is that which the Lord hath said, Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning." See, this is a very methodical, orderly deal that Yah had for these people. And they laid it up till the morning as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. And Moses said, "Eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Lord. Today ye shall not find it in the field. 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none." And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none. Once again, they had to go against the instructions that was from Elohim and their mediator coming through Moshe. Verse 28, and the Lord said unto Moses, How long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? See, for that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath. Therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day, and the house of Israel called the name thereof manna. And it was like coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. It actually tastes pretty good. I've had stuff like that. And Moses said, This is the thing which the Lord commandeth. Fill an omer of it to be kept for your generations, that they may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt. And Moses said unto Aaron, Take a pot and put an omer full of manna therein, and lay it up before the Lord to be kept for your generations. As the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron laid it up before the testimony to be kept. And the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years, until they came to a land inhabited. They did eat manna until they came unto the borders of the land of Canaan. Now an omer is the 10th part of an ephah. All right, that's all 36 verses of chapter 16. I'm checking the side chat here. Okay, yeah. No, you're right on that too. You seem to know your stuff there, boss. I finally run into somebody who has a lot of knowledge, like I do, and I'm not trying to be arrogant, but we need to know this stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. What Haas is putting up there, that's not a matter of salvation, but the more you know, knowledge is power. The critical thinking you can do, so you have some ridiculous, say, greasy gracer Christian come up against you, you know what you're talking about. Just little things like this. Let me look. Yeah. Right. Yeah, they didn't. But again, it was made for us. Verse 29, let's go over that again. See, for that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath. Therefore he giveth you on the 6th day in the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. Well, obviously they were, when Yeshua came down in the flesh, they were under Rome's rule to an extent. There's just certain instructions and laws, call them what you will, they couldn't follow through with. Some they could, some they couldn't. But Yeshua himself said it. The Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. While Exodus 16:29 is living proof of that. But let's move on to chapter 17, shall we? And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin after their journeys according to the commandment of the Lord, and pitched in Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink. Wherefore the people did chide with Moses, and said, Give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, Why chide ye with me? Wherefore do ye tempt the Lord? And the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses, and said, Wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, What shall I do unto this people? They be almost ready to stone me. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go on before the people, and take with thee of the elders of Israel, and thy rod wherewith thou smotest the river. Take in thine hand, and go. Behold, I will stand before thee upon behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel, and he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, Is the Lord among us or not? Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moses said unto Joshua, Choose us out men, and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in mine hand. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him, and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on the one side and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Lord said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar, and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi, which the King James reads Jehovah Nissi. For he said, Because the Lord has sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. And that's all 16 verses of chapter 17. All right. Give me a second. All right. Let's go to chapter 18. I kind of want to talk about some things, but we need to get this done, and I will. Um, anyway, Exodus chapter 18. When Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that God had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, and that the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt, then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back, and her 2 sons, of which the name of the one was Gershom, for he said, I have been an alien in a strange land. And the name of the other was Eliezer, for the God of my father said he was mine help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife unto Moses into the wilderness, where he encamped at the mount of God. And he said unto Moses, I, thy father-in-law Jethro, am come unto thee, and thy wife, and her 2 sons with her. And Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, and did obeisance, and kissed him. And they asked each other of their welfare, and they came into the tent. And Moses told his father-in-law all that the Lord had done unto Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and all the travail that had come upon them by the way, and how the Lord delivered them. And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which the Lord had done to Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord, who hath delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who hath delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods. See, again, we're talking little gods, demigods, whatever, little g, lowercase g. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, for in the thing wherein they dealt proudly, he was above them. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for God, and Aaron came and all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood by Moses from the morning unto the evening. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, What is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning unto even? And Moses said unto his father-in-law, Because the people came unto me to inquire of God, whether they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I do make them know the statutes of God and his laws. Excuse me. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, The thing that thou doest is not good. Thou wilt surely wear away both thou and this people that is with thee, for this thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. Hearken now unto my voice. I will give thee counsel, and God shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to Godward, that thou mayest bring the causes unto God. Ooh. And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shalt shew them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And let them judge the people at all seasons, and it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge, so shall it be easier for thyself. They shall bear the burden with thee. If thou shalt do this thing, and God command thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure, and all this people shall also go to their place in peace. So Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel, and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And they judged the people at all seasons, The hard causes they brought unto Moses, but every small matter they judged themselves. And Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land. And that's all 27 verses of chapter 18 of Exodus. Okay. Yeah, you have people that are on certain levels, and we're not necessarily always talking just IQ. You can have some really brilliant people who can't perform some of the simplest tasks. I've seen it myself. But you have people that are reasonable and capable, and maybe to their lack, maybe their motivation or lack of it, who knows what's going on in their lives. But for one man to be ruling everything, be making all the decisions, that was, it's not that Moses was he was foolish, he just didn't know. And he took the advice wholeheartedly. And you had people that were capable of doing 10 or so, other people that were capable of doing 50 or more, and so on. That is a better way to delegate the system. And some of our constitution, that and how we do things from state to state with their state constitutions and all that, is based on some of this. So, not fully, not wholeheartedly, and definitely not now with the corruption, but I think you get my point. I'll check the chat. Skill of delegating tasks. Oh, that's me. LOL. Laughing out loud. Control freaks. Also, do I want to talk on another subject? Because I'm very realistic about my ancestors and that. But I'm not just leaving everybody else out of the loop either. Trust me. But anyway, chapter 19. Let's rock. In the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai, for they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. I'm just having a memory. Never mind me. Verse 5. I used to be on a chat site that I haven't used in over 4 years. And one of the reasons why I took the nickname that I did was because of Exodus chapter 19, verse 4. Oh, hey, welcome and Shabbat Shalom to Old Path, buddy. How you doing? Anyway, verse 5. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him. Okay, verse 8 that I'm going to is very key, ladies and gentlemen. It's the covenant, it's the contract. We are not getting out of this. Those of you who do, you're not doing it without repercussions, put it that way. Because, Torah 3, well, this is all of them in unison. It won't be today. God willing, it'll be tomorrow when I get to Exodus chapter 4, and they did it 2 more times. A whole slew of Hebrew Israelites. So, anyway, verse 8. And all the people answered together and said, All that the Lord has spoken we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go unto the people, and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the 3rd day. For the 3rd day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves that ye go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall be surely put to death. And there shall not an hand touch it, but ye shall surely be stoned or shot through, whether it be beast or man. It shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the third day, come not at your wives. Yep, they had to abstain. Verse 16, And it came to pass on the third day in the morning, that there were thunders and lightnings, and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the nether part of the mount. And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long, and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount, and the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also, which come near to the Lord, sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. And Moses said unto the Lord, The people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for thou chargest us, saying, Sit bounds about the mount, and sanctify it. And the Lord said unto him, Away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee, but let not the priests and the people break through to come up unto the Lord, lest he break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people, and spake unto them. All right, that's all 25 verses of Exodus chapter 19. Let me look. Yeah, they have. They used to not be allowed there. Was it the Penny and her husband and their kids many years ago snuck on there and got a bunch of pictures and stuff done, did a bunch of journaling on it. I've heard that they took that down, that people can go up there now. I don't know if that's true or not. So, yeah, hope your healing's going well enough, smooth enough for you there, old path. Anyway, let's get to chapter 20 read here. And, yeah, it's the Ten Commandments along with Deuteronomy chapter 5. Am I remembering that correctly? Hold on. I'm pretty sure it's Deuteronomy chapter 5 as well. Yep, it is. Anyway. Oh, is it still guarded by troops there, Wilfred? I wasn't sure. I haven't kept up on that. Okay. Don't they let people in special for special occasion, people that are supposedly qualified in that? Am I right on that? Oh, scholars and archaeologists and geologists and so on. I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe people have to somehow sneak in there yet, if they even can. Anyway, let's read the Ten Commandments, shall we? Exodus chapter 20. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Yeah, commandment number 4, folks. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them for all that is in them is, and rested the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day, and he hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. A more accurate translation in English simply would be, thou shalt not murder, folks. Anyway, thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. It's funny how many Christians do that. Huh. Well, they're always saved anyway. Har, har, har. Anyway, verse 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Okay, before going to verse 18, this is where you need to interpret things. I don't own any donkeys, but they, when I used to own livestock, goats, sheep, and I still have chickens, people shouldn't be coveting that. Okay, maybe it's a car, a truck, a pickup. I need another pickup. Oh man, it's been too long since the pistons blew. But my point is, taking anything of thy neighbor's. And we're not using eisegesis in this. We are interpreting this accurately, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Do I sometimes sit back and kind of wish, why can't I be where I was financially at what time? Back at one time or several times in my life, really? Of course I do. Do I look at somebody and admire them, if they have these things? Yeah. But I will not do anything. I will not go out of my way to do anything to covet and do things on a dishonest level. No, I used to, old path. The pistons to my pickup blew well over a year ago, and I've been vehicle-less ever since then. Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, Haas is right on that too. No, pistons all blue. It was on the road or on the side of the road for 5-6 days now. I finally got it hauled back here, and I had to sell. I'm not a mechanic, and even if I was, I didn't have the right pistons and that. And I sold this to somebody else, and they let us know, or my wife know on Facebook Messenger. Yeah, the pistons are gone. They're toast. Just so you know. Anyway, but I'm not saying I don't get a little disgusted with things, because I do. I'm human, but I just can't see going out of my way to steal or do anything. Now, I've ever bared false witness on people in my 57 years. Yes, I have lied. Have I stolen in my 57 years of life? Yes. Guarantee I haven't done it for a long time, folks, and I won't be doing it in the future that I can see. Anyway, but let's continue on. Okay, verse 18. And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear, but not let God speak with us, lest we die. Must have been a pretty impressive demonstration for the people to be that scared. And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for God has come to prove you, and that a spear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where God was. And the Lord said unto Moses, Thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, Ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall ye make unto you gods of gold. An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings and thy peace offerings, thy sheep and thine oxen. In all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stone. For if thou lift up for if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shalt thou go up by steps unto mine altar, that thy nakedness be not discovered thereon. And there ends the 26 verses of Exodus chapter 20, ladies and gentlemen, and our reading here. We have done 14 days basically of reading, right? 14 times 5 is 70. And we've done 70 chapters so far of the 187 chapters of the Torah. Anyway, oh, well, yeah, we all do. I don't hide it, but yet at the same time, there's just certain things I don't talk about. I was a pretty evil, wicked man at one time. I've done a lot of things that, frankly, are enticing, that are a lot of fun. You know how sin, is fun for a season. Is that how the saying goes? And I watch myself very closely. So, yeah, we all skeletons. The covetousness is what's getting me, because it happened to us on a modern day level in the state of the hypocritical red state of Florida. That woman has nothing to show for it now, don't get me wrong, but she's never been brought to justice, and I doubt she ever will be in this lifetime. I'll gladly give you the names of the deputy sheriff's department. I did it once. I may have that in video in private. I'd have to look. But the only reason, and give you the name of the DCFS investigator, because their names are public. You can find the reason why I was able to do it before is I just found it right on Google, no problem. And I might do that. No, I don't dare, unless she was to go public herself or something, or be busted, then I could. But this other lady is a private citizen, like us, and that could get me in a lot of trouble. So, and I still struggle with that, ladies and gentlemen. So that being said, if she paid for it in a way, and I'm trying to console myself, I'm not going to continue on that. Okay, getting back to the reading. What I want to talk about is, no matter what happened and all the miracles the Hebrew Israelites at that time saw, they go back to their puke, a dog going back to his vomit, just like in Proverbs, and it's really not as good, okay? And emesis is how you say it medically, okay, when you throw up. Knock it off. Be quiet. Dogs, what can you say? What was I just talking about before Kakarot distracted me? Help me out, guys. Come on. Oh, the reading of the Hebrew Israelites back then. And I say it that way because Avram was the first Hebrew, Genesis 14:13. And then Yaakov, or Jacob, his name was changed for certain contexts anyway, to Israel, Yisrael. My tongue is having problems again. To Israel. And so the Hebrew Israelites coming out of those people's loins, they kept going back to their own puke, frankly. And what can you say? I mean, and they were seeing this front up, but I try to give some grace and think, well, I've had some good blessings in my life, and I've screwed them up. Am I any better? Probably not. I'd like to think that if I saw God putting quail and manna and all that stuff, would do that. I'm just, in a way, I'm almost kind of disgruntled with my Jewish counterparts, is how I would put it. Um, yeah, it's a good way to look at it, Hoss. Um, I and they still haven't learned. Okay, we'll eventually get to the book of Shoftim, right? Judges in English, back and forth, like a doggone, up and down like a yo-yo. Um, and then eventually comes, the 10 northern tribes, and with the Assyrians, and then of course the two southern tribes, with the Babylonians. Then they don't have their own nation totally, but they at least get back together to an extent, and they're under several regimes all the way to Rome, and they keep doing the same crap. Yeshua, confronted them on this nonsense, and it just irks me to no end. I mean, again, I'm not perfect. I'm not whole yet. I have flaws. As old Path or whomever it was. No, it was Wilfred. Now that I love, Wilfred. We all have our skeletons, but I try to not make the same mistakes. I think in some ways, folks, we can do better than the people in the scriptures. We can do better than the prophets and the godly kings and that even, and so on. Because we have their examples to learn from. I've already told you what I thought about. Jacob definitely was a prophet. He fulfilled God's will, and I want to scratch this so badly. But I won't. Devil holler at me, and rightly so. They we have their lessons to learn from, as well as Jacob doing God's will, made so many mistakes, lying, deceiving, listening to his mother when he should have rightly not listened to her. She took the curse for him. So what? Playing favorites? Hello. I mean, we can learn these things from these people. We're not any better than them. It's just that we can be better in the sense of our verb action because we're reading about them, hearing about them in movies and readings like this. I mean, I'm nothing unique here reading it, online. So that being said, folks, I think we can do better. I know we can. And I think in some ways we may be, some of us. But my Jewish counterparts just, aggravate the living snot out of me. I can't stand them in a way. The Orthodox Jews, the Hasidic and Sephardic. I have more tolerance for the Karaite Jews. But even them, I mean, like I'm pretty good friends with Karaite Judaism guy. We've talked, at least online. He's back when we used to do Google Hangout, he used to be on my panel a lot. We've talked on the phones countless times. We've texted back and forth, and we've been on the headphone conversations. But I mean, and he seems like in some ways he's a lot more patient and graceful than I am. You'd want him judging you on Torah matters before you ever would me, if you want real grace. But the Karaite Jew, he's a Karaite Jewish Hakam. Okay. So, but a lot of these Karaite Jews, I see over 300 indications of Yeshua in the Tanakh. The Karaite Jews see none, zero. So even we differ, but I'm a lot more patient with them and tolerant, and they're not nearly as corrupt. Yeah, seek God's forgiveness and repent. Hopefully, turn away from that sin, not do it anymore. My Jewish counterparts are really something. They have a thing called takanot. Oops. And this is a real simple version of it. And the Karaites don't do this. They may interpret things differently in Tanakh than I do. I know they do in some cases, but they take it literal as much as they can. There you go. Taka note. The authority to change or negate biblical law. They can make a whole new Torah. They can change it all. They can change parts of the Old Testament, the Tanakh, because Torah is part of the Tanakh, the Torah. And one example I've used many times is 2 Samuel chapters 11 and 12 with the Uriah the Hittite and his wife Bathsheba and what King David did. And they justify it in the oral writings, the Babylonian Talmud. I guarantee you I've read it. In the modern rabbinical Pharisees, they do it now. They almost like plagiarize it. Folks, I'm sorry. I have to step out and relieve myself. Please be patient. I'll be right back. Okay. Anyway, thanks for waiting for me. Well, my Jewish counterparts are still doing it. You want to know a real cruel, straight up in your face, blunt lesson for my Jewish counterparts, and probably some Christians too, really, and Messianics and that, even though it was mainly my Jewish counterparts. World War II, folks. I mean, they had they still do, for that matter. They had their chance over the thousands of years to do their thing, to get right with Elohim. Yeshua warned them many times. And all through look what Constantine did to him. The so-called great Christian advocate, and protector. Yeah, okay. Right. If you really know his history. All the way up to then World War II, Hitler, Adolf Fonzia, that's his Christian name, believe it or not. Adolf Hitler, he was the most successful with killing off my Jewish counterparts, even though he failed in the end. I thank him in a way because he also got the state of Israel started, which I know Hitler did not have a goal to do. But that's another chance they've been given. May 14th, 1948, on a Friday, they officially were acknowledged as their own nation again, their own state. And they're still pulling the crap that they are. You think they've learned something there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know there are some Messianics, people that have converted over to Yeshua. I don't know how many it is. I hear it's out of 7.5, 8 million people in the state of Israel. I hear it's around 20,000 maybe. And that's better than nothing. I mean, each one is a victory against Hasatan. But anyway, I hope I don't lose any subbers over this. I'm so tired of them. They're arrogant. They're hard-hearted. They can't hear anything. They have ears but don't hear. They have eyes but don't see. I've dealt with a few of them in the past. It's amazing. I can show them step by step, line upon line, that Yeshua has to be the Mashiach. And they'll just look right at you and say, no, he doesn't prove anything. He's not the Messiah. It's like Kong. They've been blinded, folks. To make myself clear about the state of Israel, I go by Paul's writings to an extent, even though he's not my favorite author. And he's not the only one, but he's the main one that he's so controversial in the Messianic realm. Definitely my Jewish counterparts realms with the Hasidic, Sephardic, and Orthodox, and the Karaites. They don't like him either, for that matter. But and really, I see it among a lot of Christians. I have these ridiculous Paulinians, and the people that just swear by his writings, like hail, hail, hail. You're never going to see me doing that, and meaning it. Maybe a demonstration here to make my point. That's it. But if you don't have Yeshua, if you don't have the Messiah on that, you're not a Jew. It's just that simple. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing from like the letter to the Romans and that Paul Shaul, as we call him, as he dictated. Because Tertius actually wrote it. I don't know if Paul had an eyesight issue. If you look in Romans 16:22, though, it's Tertius that actually wrote it. So I'm guessing Shaul or Paul dictated it. Oops. Sorry. My bad. But he dictated, anyway, that's Paul's words. And you're not a Jew if you're not a Jew inwardly. And as far as I'm concerned, when you look at Revelation 2:9 and Revelation 3:9, my Jewish counterparts, they qualify big time. I mean, you look it up. I know my scriptures well. I'm not just pulling anything out of my hinder ender here. And if they had their way with me, probably more so than, I don't know what Old Path yet. We haven't called him yet and talked to him. And not that I'm trying to interrogate anybody. I don't know about Wilfred, Haas, Old Path, and I do know Carolyn personally to an extent, Carolyn Gannon, and she's pretty good. But what was my point? Because I'm getting tired again. It's been a good rest day, but my point is, my Jewish counterparts. Oh yeah. I don't know how Jewish. I'm not really that Jewish when it comes down to it. If you were to see me talk with somebody, they'd be like, that's not Jewish. That's the opposite. But I'm Hebraic. If I was to look at this, so I don't know if you guys consider yourselves Christians or what. I know you're all Sabbath keepers that are typing into my knowledge anyway. And I even back approximately 9 years ago on my YouTube channel had an Orthodox channel contact me, under the my comments. I guess they were somewhat impressed with my Sabbath, my educational video on keeping the Sabbath, and they were trying to suck me in. I exchanged with them back and forth, but I would have had to give up Yeshua. When you have a guy like me who claims a Levitical chronology, which pretty much, when I looked into my line, I could, it's pretty much there. I haven't taken the DNA test, and I'm not going to, the meager money that we get, I'm not about to give it, testing on that anyway. But even if I was to fail, I am claiming a Jewish or a Levitical descent. And if it was up to a lot of my counterparts, they'd stone me before or burn me with fire long before they do that to what these normal Gentile, Western-minded American and Great Britain Christians. I mean, so I'm just making the point. I could use that as a badge of honor. I don't know. I don't really care. It's just, but I have the idol Yeshua in my life, and I make no qualms telling you about it. because I'm not ashamed of him. So I don't see him being ashamed of me. But the Orthodox Jews, Hasidic, whatever, so they'd be a lot more hard on me. A couple of them even told me, pretty hostile. I can't remember what that was online. They hated my guts, and they made it very clear. Oh, well, you know, they expect, and the way they think, they expect the Christians to be as stupid as they are. It's a very loose term there, Wilfred. But anyway, I think I've talked enough. But, they've had their chances. They've had chance after chance. Hitler exterminated, over 6 million Jews, according to all the history I've read, the documentaries I've looked at, watched in detail, articles, books. And, he really wiped them pretty thin, and praise the Lord. God stopped him in the end. But, look, the scriptures are right there. We're reading them. Get rid of those doggone Talmuds, both of them. Get rid of the Shulchan Aruch. Definitely get rid of the Zohar and Kabbalah. It's contrary. And regardless of what my Jewish counterparts may think, God does have some say and authority in how the scriptures are to be interpreted. What do you mean? You don't think you don't think 6 million Jewish people were exterminated or extirpated? If you don't, that's fine, Wilfred. Try to give me a source or something, and I'm something like that. I'll be definitely willing to look it up and see how credible it is or no. Yeah, amen to that, Hoss. Oh, amen to that. Okay. Yeah, but he was, no, you do have a point there. Even Hermann Wilhelm Goering said that. And he was the second in command under Hitler for quite a few years. Okay, moving on. I have a couple of funny duddies, even though it's a serious deal with our nation. You want to see the kind of crap people say, and they do? Let's hold on a sec. Mr. Burgundy, and I will put the links to his videos. This is who we would have had as our president if they would have been able to cheat enough to get it done. What's going on here? Oh, come on, get rid of that. Skip. Okay. I'll play the whole thing. This is on Mr. Burgundy's channel. I do recommend that you hold on. Okay. And I'll put his links in. I've shown you, I think, a couple things that he has from before. It's kind of like a good comic relief deal more than anything. Oh man, this woman is something else. We are. Oh man, I remember that when she was campaigning, trying to sound like some deep, profound, enigmatic philosopher when she just sounds like a buffoon. What am I looking at here? I'll have to look at that. Anyway, I'll have to look at him later. All right, let's get this moving.
And I have the pleasure of sitting alongside Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. First and foremost, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here. What made you want to come to a WNBA game?
It beats the heck out of me.
Well, I love the W, and 30 years was looking at just incredible excellence in terms of athletic ability, in terms of ambition, in terms of discipline, and what they are doing to model them, the height of athleticism.
The height of athleticism.
But combining that with what they're doing to empower so many people who watch them, I love it. I'm a huge fan of the W. Doug and I, this is our date night. Doug. It is so exciting to see how they are, again, helping people understand that sometimes it's important to not be limited and not allow your ambition to be limited by other people's limited ability to see your capacity.
Exactly. You know it. Wait, what did you say? It's important to not be limited and not allow your ambition to be limited by other people's limited ability to see your capacity.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. A woman who couldn't climb her way out of a margarita glass and oh boy, trying to sound like an Arthur Schopenhauer or something. I don't know. Let's do the other one. This is really something. And not one of these guys that you're gonna hear right there. He's dead. I'm sure he knows better now. And again, I want to make this clear. I am not defending Donald Trump by any stretch of the imagination. Let's do this.
In our nation's 246-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. He tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him. He is a coward.
He's a liar and a coward.
I hate those guys.
Each of us, each of those precious lives stolen too soon when evil attacked. Ground Zero in New York, and I remember standing there the next day. And looking at the building. I felt like I was looking through the gates of hell.
Unfortunately, the story is bullshit.
Our enemies will not and cannot defeat us. This country will go on, deeply wounded by the loss of so many, but strengthened by our resolve and our commitment to sustain this great democracy.
I remember standing there the next day.
Don't you have a soul?
Now, just a few moments ago, Donald Trump passed through here, so we had a minute to talk with him. Let's roll that tape. You can see what he had to say.
Well, I've never seen anything like it. I've seen two huge 110-story buildings that are reduced to rubble, thousands and thousands of lives. I just got to see something that I've never seen before. I have hundreds of men inside working right now, and we're bringing down another 125 in a little while, and they've never done work like this before.
I remember standing there the next day.
I was just down to Ground Zero. Ground Zero is a disaster. I've never seen anything like this. I hope we act very quickly. I hope we find out who did it and act accordingly and quickly.
He's a coward.
He's a liar and a coward.
Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Okay. I just want to make this clear. And of course, the second most powerful man, if they would have been able to cheat their way in, I might as well play him too. And I'll put all three links at the bottom of my live stream once I have this done, folks. Well, Biden was smarter back then. He was never a genius, guys. When I was heavy duty into politics, I've told you about, I've given you somewhat of a testimony of it. He was the standing joke in his own party. When Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton and Tennessee Senator Al Gore were running, and they won. They beat Bush Quayle, George Herbert Walker Bush, Dan Quayle. And I don't remember the jokes, and I don't know where I would find them, but he was the joke of the party, being the idiot. He never was that brilliant, folks. And now, and it's not like I'm even trying to defend Biden now, but when he spoke that day, I used to work in geriatrics. I won't guarantee you, he probably doesn't even remember that day talking like that. Whoever wrote his writer was, I doubt he remembers even doing it that day. He may or may not remember September 12th of 01 on a Wednesday, the day after the attacks. Yeah, that's hard to tell with those people. It's amazing where their minds go. But anyway, let's get this on.
Congress, take action. It's time to pass the Clarity Act now.
Yeah.
Here's how it all began.
Tonight, questions over Minnesota's pardon of a man convicted of repeated assault of a child. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security is slamming the decision.
The DHS accuses state leaders of shielding 42-year-old from being deported.
What the hell is the world coming to?
Tim Walz, I know very well. Let's say he served in the House. To characterize him as left is so unreal. It's just not what the question. He's right down the middle. He's a Heartland of America Democrat.
A Heartland of America Democrat.
Don't you fall into the trap. Democrats are full of crap.
Just weeks ago, a convicted offender and a foreign national was shielded from deportation by the governor of Minnesota. Laotian national was convicted of repeatedly a 10-year-old girl in the state of Minnesota. He even tried to pay his victim for her silence, and he called his heinous crimes a minor thing.
A minor thing.
I think I'm going to throw up. Just days before this foreign offender was scheduled to be deported, Tim Walz, the governor, issued him a pardon, setting him free to once again endanger the children of America.
That's bullshit.
Well, this week I revoked his legal status in the United States, and as a result, federal agents took him into custody, and as of today, he has been removed from the United States.
Don't let the doorknob hit you with a good Lord split you.
Because of our action, this foreign criminal will never pose a threat to any American ever again. Americans must never be forced by their elected leaders.
Come on!
To live alongside foreign criminals who have no right to begin with to reside in our country. This administration will always stand with the American people and defend them from violent criminals.
All right. Let me get my thing back on here. All right. Oh, amen there, Hoss. No doubt about it. Again, I'm not sticking up for Biden, for that pedo. There's plenty of information if you dig really deep what he was like when he was lucid. Him and his pathetic son, Hunter, who's like a year younger than me only. You know, but and I'm not sticking up for Trump. Okay, Trump is, you know, these federal judges make these orders, and what he should do is have now Todd Blanche, acting attorney general, be arresting those judges and politicians. Like whoever was doing it for Biden was having Merrick Brian Garland do. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Trump's done some good things. He sent people in to help. I that information I know it's accurate. I remember seeing it back then when I was living in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So that being said, he, yeah. But he was always a ruthless businessman. I think it was legal from what I can tell. But now he's protecting his pedo billionaire friends, which makes him just as guilty, aiding and abetting. He doesn't have a sack to order these politicians. And, you know, from the, you have the three branches. You have the executive branch with, you know, of course, this Trump Vance right now and people under them. And you have the judicial branch, which is James Jeb Boasberg, Paul Azenis, James McConnell Jr., and a couple of other ones. The one who has a really weird name. You know, why am I brain farting? Oh, brother, me, silly me. Anyway, give me a minute. Oops. Yeah, the legislative branch, you know, these people are doing illegal things. It's obvious. And that's somewhat personal to me. I know it's bad in California. And the only reason why it's worse probably is because California is the largest, has the largest capacity of the 50 official states in the union here, with creepy boy Governor Gavin Newsom. But in my home state, Minnesota, that's really a personal thing to me. I have people that I love and care for that are still up there, and Walz and his Lieutenant Governor Penny Flanagan and the Attorney General Keith Ellison and them. Ilhan Omar, I've talked about her numerous times, of the 5th Congressional District of Minnesota. I mean, they're still walking around free and arrogant. Why shouldn't they be, I guess? I mean, you know, why should they be worried? Trump has never had the sack to do a doggone thing. What, Minnesota? I'll have to maybe call somebody then. I don't remember. It's a little late. That one guy, it's 10:05 here. It's 9:05. He's probably either going to bed or just got to bed. I'm not going to call him now. He's okay. I'll have to look that up too, for that matter. I'll ask him about it though. I keep contact with a number of people by phone and Zoom and, you know, texting and stuff up in my home state. But that you know, with Tampon Timmy, we call him that for a good reason. And I think there's some things, at least that did go on with Senator Joe Biden back in the day with young people. His whole, I don't know about his whole family, but I remember that when Trump was running again and his family endorsed Trump. Yeah, God, you talk about sickening. You think he would have been embarrassed, but he showed no remorse, no embarrassment, no shame. He didn't even bring it up. But this is kind of stuff we're dealing with. I just wanted to put it on a lighter level. We need to keep praying. We need to keep reading our scriptures, ladies and gentlemen. And if you are in salvation, okay. Yeah, okay. I'll look that up, Hosh. I'm glad you let me know that. I have some people anywhere from southwest Minnesota up to northern Minnesota, yeah. Up close to the Canadian border. But don't you know it? So I'll have to check that out tomorrow. But I went to college up in Duluth and Cloquet, Minnesota. Yeah. But this is the kind of people we're dealing. I mean, Biden's out of the picture. Just let him. He's where he needs to be. Okay, he's out La La Land. What do you do with a guy like that? You know? Oh yeah, Austin. Yeah, okay. I've been through there many, many times. But anyway, I don't know what else. I can bring you more stuff that's going on, and I will. I probably need, again, I keep saying I need to make a separate video for that. That's separate of the reading, and I will. I don't know when exactly, but it'll happen. I do think it's vital. I think it's essential that we, read together, study God's word. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I don't really have much more to come up with. All I'll do is be babbling and shooting the breeze, which is fine, but I just wish I had more money, and not only for a pickup, but also for to bring people up on stage. But I don't. So I kind of miss it. I mean, I go into other people's panels, but see, here I am scratching again. I'm still getting treated for that poison ivy. I miss having it on my own channel. I can try to see if StreamYard will maybe do something or not. Last time I checked, it didn't. They didn't even give you anything for free. I could, in a way though, I don't miss Google Hangout. It was so easy for people to hack into. I'd get kicked out of my own panel. Some of you may not have been around. Maybe Carolyn Gannon was around for that. I don't know. Well, I shut off the camera then. If I'm anyway, I'm not really scratching too bad. Deb treated me earlier. She may need to do it again tonight. She made up a good amount of that herbal remedy along with coconut oil and the leaves. Yeah, I know you are. But folks, look, I really appreciate you coming here and subscribing, and I appreciate you listening and contributing in the side chat. We need to keep this going as long as we are allowed to. All right? And pray for one another in that. And yes, let's get together and have a conversation in private one of these days. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, read your scriptures. Obey Elohim to the best of your ability. Learn him. Get better with him. Become closer to him and be more in his image. Peace. Shalom. The Levite man is gone. Until next time.